We've caught up with Ken here at the Sega Digital Day here at GDC to find out a little bit more about Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 2. That's finally coming. And so I think fans were a little bit like, when is it coming? Because Episode 1 came out like a long time ago. But
Sure.
I guess you wanted to get Sonic Generations out first before you brought this game.
Absolutely. We definitely wanted to get Generations its space and have it come out. So when we came out with Episode 1, it was October of 2010. Now we're coming out with Episode 2. We wanted to make sure Generations had its space. But as you can see, as soon as Generations was launched, in December we announced Episode 2, went right into the campaign, letting everybody know that it was going to come back.
And I think just like Sonic 2, Episode 2 brings about a new friend that, we all love. And
Yeah, it's definitely bringing back Tails. And it's really cool because the first thing you'll notice about Episode 2 is that you're going to have collaborative play. So you're going to have Tails playing with Sonic online and local co-op. You're going to be able to use Sonic and Tails in totally new ways. So one thing we remember from Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles is that Tails would always be able to pick Sonic up and take him to a different ledge and sort of explore different paths. Here, you've actually going to expand on that. We're going to include 2 new moves. One move is a super combination roll that is actually a very much more powerful attack. So Badniks, for example, that would take 2, 3, 4 hits to beat are now going to take 1 hit with this sort of super spin dash. Then you've got the ability now for the first time to swim with Tails. So Tails will pick Sonic up by his arms and he'll sort of swim like a little submarine underwater, and you've got a lot more control underwater. And then when he hits the surface of the water, he actually goes into the propeller mode and he'll carry and you can fly with Tails. So it's much cooler in that sense of things you can do with Tails, and that kind of means that co-op is going to be a lot more fun with your friends because you have more things you can do together.
it's not just two-tailed fox following you around, right?
Exactly. Now there's a real sense of purpose to allowing Tails to come with you, and you're going to be able to access different levels of the zones, for example, by using these rolls. So there might be a ledge you can only get if Tails will fly you up there, or if you're playing in the snow, for example, there's areas that you can only access if you use the Sonic and Tail combined roll and sort of dig your way through the snow. So there's definitely a lot of really cool stuff that happens when you use those new combinations.
So in terms of the first episode, some old fans weren't all that pleased with it, and I know you reworked some of the mechanics. Could you go talk us through that?
Absolutely. I think that a great thing about Sonic Episode 2 is that a lot of the features that we have are directly in response to what fans have asked for. One of the best things, for me at least, for making Sonic 4 episodic is that after Ep 1, we always said, look, tell us what you think. Press, tell us what you think. Why did we get an 80 instead of a 90? Why did you guys think that these things should be changed? And then we try to incorporate as much as possible. So first off the bat, you're going to notice three things. Sonic will no longer uncurl when he goes up a hill. So when he's rolling and he goes up the hill, he'll stay in that ball attack form. 2, if you start off Sylvania Castle Act 2, there's a big hill at the beginning. And we encourage fans of the Genesis to just go to the side of the hill and just tuck and roll. Don't spin dash, just tuck and roll. And you'll notice that Sonic will roll down the hill naturally, and he'll actually gain momentum as he's going down, even if you put the controller down and do not put any input in the analog stick. So that's a really cool thing. We're definitely bringing back more momentum-style gameplay. The third thing that's really noticeable is that in Ep 1, if you would jump with Sonic, for example, if you would stop pressing forward on the analog stick, Sonic would go up into the curve of the arc of the jump, and then he'd drop, kind of like a rock. Like the minute you stop putting left or right, he would just fall right down to the bottom. Now, as long as you have forward momentum going, you jump with Sonic, let the analog stick go, and he will still finish the jump in the arc how you intended it to be. So definitely a bigger step towards making the physics feel like the Genesis. And
could you talk us through any of like what kind of zones we can expect and what of the stuff that you've revealed so far?
Of course. We've got 2 new zones that you can see. We've got one called Sylvania Castle, which is like a ruin in. It's basically like a ruined castle, sort of in the middle of a lake. And we've also got White Park Zone, which is a big roller coaster area in the snow in the mountains. And of course, all those have really interesting areas for you to go and explore. So we've got 2 new zones. In general, there'll be 3 new zones, and then there's going to be a returning zone from the classic trilogy, Sonic 1, 2, 3, Sonic and Knuckles. And the reason that zone is brought back, actually, it makes sense in the story. Once you see what the story is, it makes total sense of why we brought down that favorite zone. It's one of my favorite zones, but we're bringing it back, and you'll be able to explore that as well. And then, of course, we've got a brand new graphics engine with Sonic Episode 2. And a huge part of this is the fans supported us so much with Episode 1, and we had a really great commercial success that we were able to reinvest that success into Episode 2. So not only are we fixing the physics stuff that a lot of fans have asked for, and we can't make everything, right? But we're fixing as much as possible. But there's a new graphic engine, so it's all 3D. It's no longer 2D pre-rendered assets. The world looks incredibly more alive. When you're actually in Sylvania Castle, subtleties will be noticed, like butterflies will be hanging around, or when you're in the water, all these different type of fish will be around. The world looks so much more alive than it did with Episode 1. So those are all really cool things that we're building towards, and I want to say that it's thanks to the fans supporting us with Ep 1 that we were able to have a bigger budget with Ep 2 and really go out with a bigger game. And I want to say that that's really just to thank you to everybody, because you supported us, and we're repaying that with a much bigger experience with Episode 2.
Is the plan ahead to sort of continue giving out episodes at different intervals, or would you say that this might be the conclusion of Sonic 4, or how do you sort of I mean, I know it needs to be a success for a sequel to come out. That's always the case, but how do you sort of think about the franchise in Sonic 4?
So we definitely have thought about Sonic 4 as a complete saga. Like, what does Sonic 4, the complete saga, constitute? And we have that sort of known internally. We definitely want to see the Sonic 4 saga, be what it is. But we can't announce any future episodes, obviously. And then there's, of course, the idea of, eventually we'll have to come to the decision of, okay, there's a finite ending to Sonic 4, and when do you move on to, say, Sonic 5, I'm not announcing that there is going to be, but, like, at some point it was never intended to be like Sonic 4 episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that was never the idea. It was never the idea to make this thing massively. We have a start and a finish to the saga, and so we want to make sure that that's what we conclude the saga with, and then we start a hopefully new Sonic 2D project maybe.
I think fans would just be worried that it would be happening like a Half-Life 2 situation where Episode 3 never showed up.
I mean, I always encourage fans to sort of vote and by supporting us, right? I mean, if we get support for Episode 2, anything like the amazing support we got for Episode 1, to us that would be great. Obviously, digital brand side, we definitely want to make sure that we're offering fans the complete experience. I mean, that's really the goal, right? You want to make sure you offer everybody that conclusive game. We don't want to be like, oh, well, there was an Episode 5 in the works, but we didn't get to complete. You don't want that experience to happen.
And as far as platforms and release date goes, what can you tell us?
I can tell you some really cool things. We're going to be coming out in the spring. It's going to be coming out on Xbox, PlayStation, iOS devices, so iPad, iPhone. It'll be coming out on Android and Windows Mobile 7. And we're really taking a look into what these devices offer. So your Windows Mobile 7, for example, you'll be able to play it thanks to the cloud save feature. Start it on your Windows Mobile 7 phone, save it, come home, turn on your Xbox, and continue where you left off. And what's cool about it is last GDC, I actually was talking to Microsoft about that. And we were like, oh, this is a really cool feature. We want to be able to incorporate it. And now here we are a year later, this GDC, and now we're announcing that we have it. And totally poetic, right? Like that you're announcing that feature. And then, of course, we have a great relationship with NVIDIA, and we're going to be teaming up, and we're making a Tegra 3 specific version that is incredibly close to the console. It is a spectacular version. I definitely encourage fans looking to buy another, phone or device, a Tegra 3 chipset, play Episode 2. It will look stunning.